Hey friends, it's me, Pastor Doug, with another word of encouragement for the day for today, Friday, March 26th. And today's word comes out of the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10, verses 21 and 22. And in it, we continue our exploration of stories where people encountered Jesus and were radically transformed as a result. Only today's story is a little bit different. Today's passage involves a young man that came to Jesus, and instead of walking away changed, instead of walking away transformed after his encounter with Jesus, he walked away sad. Let me give you the quick backstory. This story just takes place just a day or two before Jesus is about to come into the city of Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, which we'll be celebrating this Sunday. But Jesus encounters a young rich ruler, and this man comes to Jesus and he asks an interesting question. He asks Jesus, what do I have to do to get the good life? What do I have to do to have a successful life? Now, the phrasing of his question, he asks, what do I have to do in order to inherit eternal life? And for us, we often look at that and think, oh, this man was asking about eternal life, living forever with Jesus in heaven. But that's not really what this man was asking. This man was really asking, how do I have the good life? How do I have a successful life? It's the same kind of question that you and I often ask, right? How do I get the American dream? How do I live the life that I've always wanted? That's what this guy is asking Jesus. And Jesus has an interesting response. He says, well, obey the commands. And the man says, cool, I've done all of that. Check. Which is unlikely, right? It's unlikely that this man actually checked off all of those commandments his entire life, but this man feels pretty vindicated and justified based on his adherence to the law. And Jesus says, okay, well, there's one more thing. See, we just talked about your external behavior, but there's one more thing that I want to challenge you to do. And this is what Jesus says to him. Jesus looked at him and loved him. This is verse 21. And he says this, one thing you lack, Jesus said, go and sell everything you have and give it away to the poor. Then you will have treasure in heaven. Then come follow me. And it's so interesting because you sort of half expect, if you're reading this story for the first time, the disciples are on pins and needles. What's this guy going to do? What's he going to choose? Well, many of us know what he chooses. Verse 22 tells us, at this, the man's face fell. He went away sad because he had great wealth. In other words, he went away sad because he wasn't willing to submit and surrender every part of his life in order to follow Jesus. Friends, here's the question I want to ask you today, and I want to get in your face a little bit, so hopefully you trust me to do this. I want to ask you this question. Is there an area of your life that, since you've been following Jesus for a few months or a few years or a lot of years, is there an area of your life that still you have not fully surrendered to the Lord? An area of your life where you're still sort of holding on to that or secretly clinging to that, or there's this area of pride that you haven't really ever submitted, even though you say you're following Jesus. And I believe you. I'm sure you are following Jesus. But for this man, he recognized he couldn't follow Jesus and disobey what Jesus had asked him to do. Jesus gave him a direct command, and he just couldn't do it. Friends, is there an area of your life that you have held on to and carried with you as you have followed Jesus? Perhaps this weekend is finally the time to surrender that area of your life fully to the lordship of King Jesus. Friends, that's my encouragement for you today. Hey, I hope you'll join us this weekend, either online or in person, for our weekend services, and then we'll be picking these videos back up on Monday. We'll see you there.